Hi, welcome back. Certainly glad you could join us today. Today I thought we'd just do a fantastic little painting that I believe you'll enjoy. So I tell you what, let's start out and have run all the colors across the screen that you need to paint along with us. And they'll come across right about there. Come on up here, let me show you what I've got done. Today I've taken standard old 18 by 24 pre-stretched canvas, but you use any size as convenient. And I've taken a piece of contact paper and cut an oval out, stuck it on there. Then I painted the center with a little bit of black gesso and allowed that to dry totally and completely. On top of the black gesso, I've added a thin, let me say that again, a very thin coat of liquid clear. And I have the canvas totally covered, but I want to remove all the excess. So I'm going to start with just a clean paper towel, and I'm going to wipe off every bit of the liquid clear that I can get. It'll still leave this very slick, and it'll allow us to move and blend paint. So just wipe off every bit that you can get off. Something about like that. And believe it or not, there's still a coat on here. You might even be able to see it shine and shimmer a little bit, but that's all you need. Now then, on top of that, we can begin playing and just have a good time. I thought today we'd start maybe with a little titanium white and a little phthalo blue mixed together. Just white and blue. Now if we had liquid white on the canvas, we could just use the pure blue color, because it would dilute the blue and make it this color. But since all we have is clear up here, we have to mix our color a little bit on the palette. So I'm just going to take the brush and very gently, making tiny, tiny little strokes, little X's, just put in the indication of a little sky here. Don't want a great deal of color, just a little up here. Just phthalo blue and white. But color stands out so bright against the black. There. See, one of the things that I hear over and over from people when they write letters is that they get too much liquid clear on the canvas, and it's difficult to make paint stick, to make it work well. So if you'll take a paper towel and wipe all the excess off, there's just enough left, exactly enough left. There. Okay, that's about all we need. Just going to have a little blue in this guy. I thought today maybe we'd just do a painting that's, maybe it's just pretty, just very pretty. Cover everybody for 2 blocks here. Now if you do that at home, I suggest you get a thing called a brush beater rack. It goes down to the bottom of a waste paper basket, and it allows you to shake the thinner off into the waste paper basket. Then you beat the brush against that little rack, and it'll save you a happy home. There. I'm going to take a little bit of bright red and titanium white. Just a little of the bright red, very little. It's so strong. Just tap the corner of the brush right into a little of that. There. Now let's just put some, maybe we'll put some just beautiful little clouds that float around up here. I'm just going to use the corner of the brush and begin shaping little clouds. That easy. Just the corner of the brush though, that's all I'm using. Maybe, yep, it comes right down in here, something like so, and just sort of floats across the sky. Just let them go wherever you think they should be. There. We're just looking for some nice basic little shapes. It's really about all. There we are. And we'll work in layers here. Okay, a little bit more there. And I tap straight down when I'm loading the brush and then turn it sidewards to paint the clouds. Tap straight down because it opens the bristles. There. Maybe this little cloud just floats right up in here. I don't know, wherever you want it. And then I have several of each brush going here. Make sure it's good and dry. And very lightly, just using the top corner of the brush, I'm just going to tickle it. Just barely, barely touch it. Trying to avoid touching the top edge right now. Just tickle it a little bit. Now if you want a shadow at the base of your cloud here, all you got to do is blend it a little firmer and the black will show through. And we'll put another layer on, and that will become the shadow for your first cloud. I hope all that makes sense. Sometimes I have a hard time explaining things. There we go. It's very gentle though, and just the top corner of the brush. Tiny little strokes. Tiny, tiny, tiny little strokes. There you go. Something about like that. No. I beat the brush just to knock excess paint off so I don't have to go through the entire cleaning procedure. And then very lightly, we'll just blend that. But isn't that a neat way of making some pretty nice little clouds with very little work? Now then, go back and get a little more of the bright red, a little more of the titanium white. Once again, I'm just going to tap the corner of the brush into the pinkish color. Just tap. Just tap. Okay, now then, maybe there's layers of clouds here. We can begin forming more and more clouds. Once again, tap straight down and then use the side of the brush. That opens the bristles so they're not stuck together in the chisel edge, because I want them very fluffy. I want these clouds to be free looking. There we go. Nothing's worse than a stiff cloud. Clouds are very loose, they're free, they just float around and have a good time all day. There we go. Something like so. And you can take these anywhere that you want them. Okay, back to my other brush. Be sure it's nice, clean, and dry. If your brush is wet, you have paint thinner on it, and you go up here and you touch this with a liquid clear underneath, you're going to be in agony city and you're going to be upset with me. Be very sure that your brush is dry as you can get it. If you don't have the facilities to beat it and bang it like we do here, then dry it the best you can and rub it real good against a paper towel or a nice soft rag. There, just blend the base of it out some, and very lightly, one hair and some air, just blend it, just enough to make it nice and soft. Once again, see, automatically we have this nice dark base down here. And you can just keep on and on and on and make as many layers as you want. It's up to you. Up to you. Wherever you think a little cloud should live, it's exactly the right place for it. Maybe something comes right down in there. I don't know. Don't know. Just whatever. Okay. I think I'll put some trees in there, so maybe we don't need too many more clouds. There. If you make this many clouds, it'll give you plenty of practice doing clouds in this particular manner. And this is just one of many ways of making clouds. We just try to show you as many ways as possible. Then you try it and you pick the way of making each one of these little things that you like. Because some people will find that this way works great for them. Other people will find that some other way of making clouds works even better. It's very individual. So whatever works for you, that's exactly the one that you want to use. There we are. Okay. See, as I say, I know I'm going to put some trees here, so I'm not worried much about the sides at this point. Let's go up here and let's make I'll make some brown. I'm going to use alizarin crimson and sap green in about equal proportions. About equal proportions. Mix it up very good. Makes a gorgeous, gorgeous brown color just by mixing those two. So I'll take a little bit of that brown. I mixed a lot because I'm going to use it throughout the painting, I think. I just like that color. A little bit of black, a little bit of the Prussian blue mixed with it. And I reach over here and get a little bit of white. I want to lighten it up. Ooh, that's nice. That's a nice color. I like that. All right, let me wipe off the old knife. Now then, I'm going to go right into that color. Load a lot of paint into the bristles. Wiggle that brush. Wiggle it. I want to bring it to a nice sharp chisel edge. Wiggle it and then sharpen it. Look how sharp you can make that. Okay. Now then, maybe up here, this is a simple, simple way of making some nice trees. Just take the brush and give it a little sidewards push. There, you can make the other side. See? That's sneaky, huh? It's a beautiful way of making little delicate trees that live far, far away. Little distant trees that don't have a lot of detail in them. There, just using the brush sidewards. And you can put as many or as few in your world as you want. Maybe down in here there's a few more. There, here and there. and there and here and just everywhere. Make all kinds of happy little trees. There. And when you make these, people come along and look at your painting, they'll never believe you made all these little trees with a 2-inch brush. Shh, that's our secret. Don't tell them. There. That's one of the things that I hear over and over again in letters that people write me. They'll say they did a painting and they showed it to their family and friends, and nobody believes they done it. And I bet that's, if you've painted and showed your paintings after they're dry and everything, and people will say, you didn't do that. Where's the numbers? Somebody else did that. But you know you did. There. Something maybe about like so. Now I want to create the illusion of a little mist down here. This brush still has a little white on the bottom. I'll tap a little of that. Now, with a clean brush, I just want to blend this together. That'll create an illusion of mist right down at the base. Something about like that. You can lift upward. But isn't that a nice way of making some little distant tree shapes that are very, very simple? You can do that. You can do that. Make another layer, because layers in a painting, as you've heard me say so many times, it creates the illusion of depth. Makes your painting look deep. So to do that, I'm going to use the same color, only I'm going to darken it a little. Okay? Now then, maybe there's some little bushy things that live right here. I'm just using the top corner of the brush. But see, that little misty area becomes your separator. It's your good friend. It's what separates the layers. Between the misty area and the darker color, that's what separates. There we go. Okay, maybe we'll put a few more over here. What the heck? And once again, I'm going to tap a little bit of that lighter color in. Something about like that. And very lightly lift upward. Just enough to sort of blend it together. Once again, creates that illusion of mist. There. Now then, let's get crazy. You know me, I like to paint trees and stuff like that. And see how many different ways we can come up with. Let's use the old 2-inch brush. What the heck? We'll make some trees back here in the background. I'm using the same colors, blue, black, and that brown that we made from crimson and sap green. Only darker. Each time a little darker. Okay, let's go back up here. Maybe in our world there lives a little tree right there. Now, if the 2-inch brush scares you, you can do this with the fan brush or the 1-inch brush. It doesn't matter. I just have it going here and it's dirty, so might as well put the little rascal to use. There. If you're doing paintings, demonstrations for friends, the 2-inch brush always excites people because they just don't believe you can paint such delicate little things using a brush this big. Let's go on the other side here and put in a couple little happy trees, maybe. Yep, about right there. Just make a decision and drop the little devil in there. There. Nice place for my little creatures to live up in that tree. I like that tree. Just using the corner of the brush initially, and as you work down the tree, add more pressure, bend the bristles harder, and it'll make the branches wider, larger, bigger, automatically. Automatically. Let the brush work for you. Let the brush work for you. Maybe there's an old leaner over here. If you've painted with me before, you know I like old trees that sort of have some character, not just future telephone pole. There. There. See, each layer now just creates that illusion of depth in your painting. Maybe right there's one more. Just however many you want in your world. Drop them in. Drop them in. Don't be afraid of it. Because you can do this. You can do anything that you believe you can do. Maybe there's a few more little bushy areas right in here. Something about like that. All right. Now, I'll take the brush with a little bit of white, a little bit of that brown color we made. I just want to put the indication here and there of a few little tree trunks that you can see. I don't want a great deal of detail. They're sort of back away, so not too much detail. Just enough to give the indication that there's some trunks in there to hold that old rascal up. Soup. There we go. Now then, and I just use that same old brush. I'm gonna go right into a little bit of the yellow ochre and the cad yellow. Reach over and get a little Indian yellow once in a while. Mix various colors on the brush though. I want a dark green. Maybe I'll reach up in here. Ooh, that's nice. I'll get a little black. That'll make it dark. Very dark. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. Now then, let's put just a touch of highlight on this tree. Still just using the corner of the 2-inch brush. Just the corner. There. As I say, sometimes people have a tendency to be afraid of this because it's so big. When Annette and I, we used to travel all over the country and teach people. That was one of the things that we would get students to do, is to use this brush. And once they got over the fear of it, they couldn't believe what you could do with it. But you have to get over that. It sort of intimidates you because it's so big. There. Just a few on these. Don't want them left out. That one in my mind's in the background. I'm not going to put any on it. I want it to stay way back here. Sometimes it's better to leave some of them just the way you paint them, so they look like they're far, far away, way back in the background. Now then, while we have that old brush going, shoot, that's working pretty good there. Let's get crazy. Maybe, tell you what, maybe there's a nice little grassy area right there. There it is. All we're doing is tapping. Still just using that same old green color. Just tapping. Yellow ochre, Indian yellow, cad yellow, and here and there, the least little touch of the bright red. And the bright red acts as a duller. It makes the color dull because red and green make brown. There. Something about like that. Now it's fun sometimes to make a bright spot in your painting. I'm going to take a little titanium white right on that same brush and just sparkle like there's a little light zinging right through there. Just sparkle a little bit. Now don't overdo this or you'll kill the effectiveness of it. Just a little. Just a little. It gets feeling good and you want to do it all, but it'll absolutely kill the effect. So be conservative with it. Let's wash that old brush. Start with some new dark color here. I just like to beat the brush. That's really the fun part. Let's go back into black and the Prussian blue and the very dark colors. I want more of the black and blue, just a very little bit of brown here. I want to change the flavor a little bit, but I'm loading it back to a nice chisel edge. Nice chisel edge. Okay, let's go back up in here. In our world, maybe there's a darker tree that's a little closer to us. There he is. A little more into the blue hue. Blue hue, that'd make a nice song. There we go. All right, maybe there's a big old tree that lives, we don't even know where it lives. It's just got some arms that are coming right down in here. Something like that. We don't know. Don't know that we even care. Don't know that we even care. We'll take that same brush, go right back into our greens and yellows. And just come right along in here. Maybe make it a little brighter so it'll stand out. Cad yellow. That's better. Now we can see it against that other one. There, just change its flavor a little. Something like so. Okay, let's do the other one over here. There. Don't be afraid of this old 2-inch brush. Use that rascal. You can do entire paintings with it very easily. Very easily. You know what? I just had a brainstorm. We got a minute or two left here. Maybe in my mind, I see, yep, What if we had a little cabin lived right out here in the woods? This would be such a fantastic place to live and watch all the little creatures. Let's just do that. What the heck? Take some of that brown color that we made. Start with the back eave. Choop, choop. Now we can do the front. Choom. All we're doing is just blocking it in here. We're just basically laying color down. We're still not committed at this point. We'll take a little yellow ochre, a little bit of that brown color, a little white. Just sort of mix them together. Come right along and say, choo. I want to make this look like old wood. Something like so. Maybe we'll make a log cabin. Doesn't much matter. Take a little dart. Put some do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do right across there. And then maybe the logs come here. A little bit of brown. See there? A little brown and white. Then we come along, put a little highlight on some of those logs. So all we have to do on the other side, it's much darker over here. Not much light here. Just the least little hint. Something like so. Now we need a roof on that house. Otherwise that fellow that lives there, boy, he's in for it. And let's take some black and some white and make a nice grayish color. And I'll use the little edge of the knife. And we'll just come right in here. We'll make it look like there's a few old shingles still hanging on this roof. It's an old cabin. There. Working layers, starting at the bottom and working up, just like you put real shingles on a house. There. Years ago I used to be a carpenter, and I guarantee you, it's not this easy to shingle a roof. My friend Dana Chester, who's one of our instructors that you've probably seen before, he was a carpenter also before he became an instructor. Shoot, that rascal travels all over the country now. Teaches literally thousands of people the joy of painting. Let's have a door in our cabin, right there. And let's have a window, something like so. Maybe just a little indication we can see the end of some logs. Little touch of highlight right around the edge. Some around the window. Nobody's home. No lights on. No lights on. All right, we'll find a 2-inch brush. It's halfway clean. Tap a little more of our grassy color in there. And let's just start putting all kinds of little layers of grass right up around. Like that. Maybe this is a nice little meadow he lives in out here. There. Sometimes it's fun to play some little games here. Watch here. We got a second left. Maybe there's a hill right here that's sort of overlooking this whole thing. So we put some dark color in first. Then we come back with our lighter colors, the highlight colors. And we begin forming this. Just a little hill right here. See there? There we go. Just enough so it stands out. Maybe even, tell you what, take a little of that brown color we made. Maybe there's even a little path that comes up this hill. Take a little white right on top of that brown. Give it a little highlight. Grassy area on this side, just to sort of bring it all together. See, now he walks down and goes back into his little house here and let a little vacation. There. That's a nice place to live. Now, let's take our little liner brush and paint thinner. We'll go right into our good brown color we made. Want this paint to be thin, like ink, very thin. Maybe we got a big tree that lives right here. Great, big, nice tree. There. And he's got a big arm. It comes over here. Maybe an old crookedy one right there. A little highlight color that's just a little brown and white. Come down and just make it so it stands out a little. Blend it in. Just want him to stand out a little. There. And we can put all kinds of little arms on here. Wherever you think they should live. It's exactly where they should be. There. I tell you what, let's take the old contact paper off and see what we got. That's the moment of truth. So we'll just grab it, pull it off, and take a little look-see there. And what's fun, watch here, I like to let things extend out of the borders. Let this old tree just sort of grow right on up. His arms just come right on out of this oval. Something like that. There they go. Wherever you think they should be. I like these paintings where part of the painting breaks the borders. It really gives a very nice effect. Hope you try these. I think you'll find them just fantastic. And with that, I think we'll call that one finished. Hope you've enjoyed it. From all of us here, I'd like to wish you happy painting, and God bless, my friend.